I've been playing a lot of games recently, and it's been a lot of fun. Like, I've been playing a lot more games than usual, so I want to talk about some of the games that I've been playing. Some of them I've already beaten, some of the things I really enjoyed about them, and just kind of have a conversation in the comments down below if you've played any of these games, what you liked about them, or some games that maybe I should really make sure I stick to. First on my list, this is a game I've already beaten, A Link Between Worlds for the 3DS. This game, it's one of those games that you put it in and you don't really know what you're in for, and I enjoyed the heck out of it. If you've ever played A Link to the Past, this game is definitely a must-play. It's kind of almost like a sequel to the game. It's in the same place as the other one, the same Hyrule map, but there's a lot of spin to it. You basically develop this ability to become like a 2D painting, and so it from Hyrule to Lorule, and then also on top of that to be a 2D painting, there's a lot of dimension to basically solve different puzzles throughout the game that make it a lot more interesting, and the graphics on the 3DS are really amazing, colorful, they pop. It's a really fun game. I like the story. I like how at the beginning you can rent any of the like weapons that you need to get through any of the dungeons, so it basically gives you kind of a degree of freedom where you can basically tackle the dungeons in any order that you really want. And renting the items also kind of adds a degree of fear of dying, because once you die, all of your rented items get taken away from you. Eventually, you do get to have the option of buying the weapons, but it's very expensive. So like buying all of the weapons, unless you're like really grinding to find the rupees, it's really not really a viable choice. So renting the items, like I said, does kind of add a degree of scarcity of dying, so that you don't have to leave the dungeon, go back, find the items, and rent them from the weird bunny man. I do 100% recommend playing this game if you have a 2DS or a 3DS. It's a really fun game, and it's short. If you don't have a lot of time on your hands, it's portable and it's short. It's a really fun title. It's probably my favorite ending to a Zelda game I've ever seen. Now, have I played all the Zeldas? No. But I think I've played a few or enough to really say that this is my favorite ending. Is it my favorite Zelda game? No. I think that's still Breath of the Wild or A Link to the Past. I'm not sure yet. Maybe that'll be a topic for another day, but it is an extremely good game. I think it would make my top 5 Zelda games. Next on my list, and this is a game I just started. Funny enough, the whole reason I started playing the game was because I was waiting for something to download, and so I figured I'd play it while I waited. And it turned out to be something that was really captivating from the get-go, The Messenger. Now, from my understanding, this game is kind of like an homage to Ninja Gaiden on the NES. And you play as a ninja, and it's very smooth gameplay. The graphics are really cool, they're very colorful. The music, I really enjoy the music. And the controllers are just so smooth. And there's this degree of timing and platforming that I really appreciate about the game. I'm in the early parts of the game, so I don't know a lot about the game. I just know that it did pretty well when it came out. I know that later on in the game kind of splits into this NES, SNES style, and I'm really excited to see that. I'm a big fan of platformers specifically, so I think that's going to be really fun. I did hear that later on it gets a little Metrovania. I'm not the biggest Metrovania person, but this game is already so fun that I definitely want to pursue this game and try to beat it to the end. Let me know in the comments down below if you've ever played The Messenger and what you thought of it. So this isn't a joke, it's almost like a slight degree of sad. So I played Detroit Becoming Human, and not only did I play it, I beat it in one day. I literally sat on my butt for probably 10 hours playing this game, playing all the way through. It was very captivating. I remember buying this game a long time ago and it not really captivating my attention, and I can't actually specify why, but as I started playing this game, I was really interested in the story. Now, we're going to call this a game because it's mostly just quick action events, and so you don't have a lot of control of the characters, but your choices really do matter. In this game, there are so many choices that you can make that really will determine how your game goes. Your characters can die. You can choose not to do anything. But the thing is the difference between this choice-based game and other choice-based games is regardless of what you choose, the game is going to move on. So you can lose your characters. You can choose to do nothing. You can choose to be bad. You can choose to be good. It really doesn't matter because the game's going to keep going anyway. And that makes the choices that much heavier, because whatever you choose directly influences what happens next, which in most games it does, but most of the time it's the people who made the game that are kind of leading you to where they want you to go, versus all of these different branches and paths that can turn into all of these different endings. And so sometimes you can have a pretty serious degree of regret based off of what you chose. Like my playthrough, and I'm not going to spoil anything, but I went a little bit more aggressive, only because I didn't like taking some stuff. I don't want to spoil anything, but I think if I were to play the game again, I think I'd try to be a little bit more passive to see what would happen. But it's really cool to see the seriousness of the choice making in this game versus other games. I mean, it's a lot more impactful. You get to play as 3 different characters. You've got Marcus, who's kind of what seems like the main character, Kara, which is, I guess, a little bit more of like the mom type, I guess. And then there's Connor, who's like the detective cop, the straight edge guy. I enjoyed Connor's storyline, I think, the most just because of how it develops later on and the choices that you can make. I mean, you can be the straight and narrow, or you can choose to do other things. It's really cool. Kara's is very touching. You know, she's trying to be this kind of like mom-like person to the kid. And then there's Marcus, who's got this very serious like leadership role that he has to take. And in case you've never played Detroit Becoming Human, it's about androids and about AI technology. And so it hits a lot on kind of like segregation. Are these AI robots real people? They're fighting for the right to be free. And so it's a lot of what makes somebody human, what makes somebody real. AI, it's a scary thing. It can be, and they can eventually get smarter than us. Will they take over? But in this, there's a big tug and pull on, are they just machines or are they real people? I mean, because the question is, what makes a person a person? I wouldn't say this game is perfect. I do wish that you had more control of your character, especially in some of the shooting areas, but I did not like the mission where you have to find Jericho and you have to go find like the symbols. That was just so tedious. It was so tedious and unnecessary. I didn't like that at all. The last thing I've been playing, and again, this was kind of a product of stumbling upon it. I found Final Fantasy 1, the 20-year edition on the PSP at a thrift store. I bought it and I figured, why not? I haven't been playing with my PSP as often, and so I figured I'd give it a shot, and I've been surprised. I like the music, I like the graphics. The grindiness is a little over the top. There's a lot of random encounters. I also think I made a mistake. I'm already about like 4.5 hours in, where I chose the red mage, and I think like a warrior, a monk, and a thief, and I think I made a mistake and I should have had 2 like mages, because they're gonna really help with not only magical powers but also healing you. So I do think that was kind of a mistake. Hopefully it won't dampen my ability to play through the game easily. Now, with the random encounters being so often, I would be surprised if I was ever not over leveled at certain points, especially because in this game it's pretty easy to get lost. I get lost all the time. That's probably why I'm 4.5 hours in, and I just now entered the first dungeon to get the first crystal. So it is very grindy. It's a very grindy game, but it's also the first of the Final Fantasy, franchise. It was released on the NES. Now, of course, the version I'm playing is a lot prettier than the old one, and I appreciate that. I like that it's a little bit more modernized and I don't have to play it on the NES. I do like the NES, but it's not a game I'm nostalgic for, so it's not something I was looking to play on that. I am pretty envious of people who got to play this back in the day. I can imagine that this would have been really mind-blowing. A RPG or a JRPG where you really get a bit more story than you're used to. I do think that the grindiness, the random encounters, and the backtracking is a result of its time. I mean, games back then didn't have a lot of room on them, nor was the technology there, so I would imagine that it was a certain degree of like padding to make sure that the game lasted long enough that people were not unhappy with their purchases, which is fine. I'm still enjoying my time. From my understanding, the PSP version does have some extra dungeons in it that were added to some other remake. I think this game's been remade, or not remade, remastered quite a few times, but I'm having a lot of fun with it. I like that it's portable on my PSP. I can play it at work while I'm on my lunch. It's just something I kind of come and go as I please while I'm playing it. So those are the games I'm playing or beaten. There are some games that I do currently have on hold, whether I lost interest or whatever it was, but Mario RPG on the Switch, that one's kind of on hold right now. I'm still playing Yoshi's Island. I'm not gonna lie, it's feeling like a grind. The game's not really... I don't know. I enjoy it and I don't. It's kind of a mixed bag for me. Something I think I'd like to jump back into is Henry Hatsworth for the DS. Portable gaming has been a lot of fun recently because I've got longer lunches at my new job, so I have a little bit more time that I don't really have anything to do. So it's really cool to kind of jump back into my handhelds. And so Henry Hatsworth, I was having a lot of fun with it, but after the move, I just kind of lost track of it, and I think I'd like to jump back into that as well. Some of the games I'm thinking about jumping into, and let me know if you've played them in the comments down below, but No More Heroes for the Wii, Wario Land Shake It for the Wii, Uncharted 2, I think I have like the Nathan Drake collection for the PlayStation 4. That's something I'm interested. And then, what was my last one? Oh yeah, Paper Mario Thousand Year Door on the GameCube. I've like started and stopped that a few times. I guess it would be kind of weird starting the Paper Mario Thousand Year Door if I'm not through the Switch Paper Mario RPG. I don't know. You guys let me know in the comments down below. In Mario RPG on the Switch, I'm stuck in like a kind of like a poison forest area. I don't know. It just kind of made me lose my interest. Let me know in the comments down below, are any of these games your like favorite game of all time? Have you played them? What did you think of them? What game do you think I should try to play next? Or do you think I should go back and try hitting up some of those games that I'm kind of not really getting through? Again, let me know. I love hearing from you guys in the comments. But thank you guys so much for watching, and don't forget, a pixelated world awaits.
Samanthaazira, queen of the game zone, her realm, her throne, every console known, pixelated princess conquering unknown. In this digital age, her talents are shown. From Minecraft games to Halo skies, watch her conquer, no surprise. Gamer grind, dynamic wise, skill unlocked, no disguise. Guys, joystick Jedi with moves unreal.